Welcome to Will It Work. I'm Kevin. Today we are looking at the Super NT from Analogue. It is essentially a Super NES clone system, Super Famicom clone system, but it is a FPGA based clone system. Sometimes I accidentally say FGPA. It's a field programmable array, basically, and I talked about this in the Mega SG. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to post first. So basically what they do is they look at the hardware that's inside the Super Nintendo, Famicom, etc., and they recreate the hardware with a special kind of programmable microchip, called an FPGA, that they develop so that it creates a perfect emulation of the system. It's not even really good to call it an emulation because it's basically, for all intents and purposes, it acts like original hardware. Now they add on additional things. They add, there's a game in there that you can play, and we'll take a look at that. And they make it so this exports out the video to HDMI, so you can play it on a modern television. Unlike the Mega SG, it does not have a composite out. They do sell a sort of a board type of thing that I guess will, connect to the HDMI, I guess, and provide a composite signal out. But I don't think it's like a true composite signal that you would get from like a normal Super NES connected to a regular TV, that kind of thing. These units are fairly expensive. They're about $200 each. They don't come with controllers. They basically come with what you see is what you get. They do have kind of an exclusive game in them that you can play. There's a little box here that comes with it that contains like the power cable and an HDMI cable, but I already had both of those, so I didn't really need to access that. And that's basically what that's what it is. And there's like a little bitty manual. It comes with Super Turrican, which is cool, but it's almost vague as to what this is. Like if you were to get this as a gift, let's say, and you didn't know what it was, you would be like, I don't know what this thing even does. Like, somebody would be like, well, it plays Super NES games and Famicom games. You'd be like, oh, well, I have no idea. It's not listed anywhere on the manuals or anything. And I'm not sure, the Mega SG, which did the Genesis and then allowed you to play Game Gear, Master System, etc. I don't know if the Super NT has any way of allowing you to do anything other than Super NES and Super Famicom. Like, I don't know if it plays, let's see, I'm looking at right here. Compatible with 2,200 plus Super NES and Super Famicom game cartridge library. It's a pretty big library. Is there really that many games for the Super NES? Probably a lot of homebrew in there. It says like reference quality control. The Super NT is a reference quality video game system with reference quality control featuring aspect ratio presentation, multiple video resolutions, scan line scalers, and more. Super NES is home to some of the most iconic music in video game history. Music that is significant should be experienced in high fidelity. The Super NT outputs the highest quality digital audio, 48 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo. 16-bit music has never sounded better. And I'm just looking. Comes in 4 different colors. Compatibility: Super NES cartridges, Super Famicom cartridges, region-free, worldwide compatibility. Does 1080p, 720p, and 480p. NTSC and PAL support. Lag-free, zero signal degradation. 16-bit audio. It does have the original controller ports. You can update via SD card. And you know, from what I understand with these things is you can make it so the BIOS can be flashed with sort of a jailbreaked BIOS and then use an SD card full of ROMs and play the ROM games rather than the cartridges. I have a EverDrive cartridge, which is essentially the same thing, and I will be using that in this unit. But I didn't push it all the way down yet though, because I think what I'll do is I'll probably start it up on its boot menu and show you the how it boots up and the Super Turrican game. Then we have the little dongle right here. That's for, and it doesn't come with this. This is for a 8-bit do or 8-bit do, whatever you want to call it. Super Nintendo wireless controller. That's rechargeable. That works pretty good. But again, you can use original controllers, wired controllers with this if you want, or any other peripheral. It's you know, it's 100% compatible. You know, the only thing to think to with the microchip or with the SD card, you won't get things like Super FX chip support. They do make EverDrive cartridges that have support for all of the various hardware that allows, like, you know, the Super FX chips and things to work and yeah, perform properly. So things like Doom and stuff can work on the Super NES. Actually, does Doom use the? I think it does. Yeah, I think Doom uses the Super FX or a Super FX2 chip, etc. So I'm not even sure if this is the one I bought. I don't think it is. I think the particular EverDrive that comes with all of those chips is very expensive, but this one does come with the DSP in it, so it has some support for some of the games that required that. But anyway, you know, ultimately it is a Super Nintendo, but let's switch over to the other side. We could look at the exclusive game, and we could look at the EverDrive and see what's actually on there. Okay, here we go. So here we are looking at the Super NT. This is without the EverDrive cartridge in it. So it comes with Super Turrican Director's Cut, Super Turrican 2, and some settings. Let's look at the settings really quick. So with the video system, you can change the resolution. There's some scalars. Mess with your scan lines. And there's an advanced mode that you can turn on to give you even more aspects. So, under audio, cartridge audio enable. Oh, weird. System, etc. Oh, got the COVID. So let's take a look quickly at Super Turrican 2. Since it comes built into the system and is exclusive to this particular unit, apparently. Not that piracy's not out there or anything, but you know.
On your fault. Red shot. Missile.
This is one of those games where you just become like a, you know, a weapon of death as you pick up more and more power-ups. I'm gonna killing machine at some point. As long as you don't die.
Smart bomb. Shield. Laser. Activated. Emergency. Power up.
I've never actually played Turrican 2. I played a lot of Turrican 1. Turrican 2, it's pretty crazy. It was like a bonus level or some kind. Alright, let's go back. Let's run the cartridge. Let's see what we got here. DSP games. Let's look at this, because this cartridge has a DSP in it, so let's see which ones it supports. Balls 3D, Dungeon Master, Lock On, Michelangelo IndyCar, Pilot Wings, Super Bases Loaded 2, Super Mario Kart, Suzuku 8 Hours, and Top Gear 3000. So Super Mario Kart being the draw, I'm sure. Let's take a look at that. And like I said, you can get an EverDrive that contains, I believe, all of the chips that you need. I think so, or at least support for them so that you can play everything. But I don't know for sure. Of course, this does take cartridges, and you could just go buy the used game, although the secondary market is pretty expensive. I will say, though, that this is totally not Super Mario Kart. This is Star Wars. Let's go back. This was the game I was playing before. Let's try this again. Oops. I think I don't want to hit start. That's the problem. Because otherwise, it'll play the game that's in memory. Here we go. Load and start. So it'll erase what's on memory, and then it'll write to it the game, and then start the game up. Now, I'm not very familiar what the DSP even is for. Like, I know what a digital signal processor is and everything. I just don't know what it's used for in the game. Does it provide better sound? Typically, DSPs would be used for sound, but not always. I mean, they would sometimes also be used for processing and things. So it's a question. But it definitely looks like it's going to work. With our System 7 mode here. Yeah, I'm just terrible at Mario Kart. It has nothing to do with the game itself. It plays fine. Okay, let's take a look at the other ones here. So, only DSP games Europe and USA. So let's see. Super Air Diver might be the only one different. I'm not even sure if it is different. In Japan, we have a lot more in Japan, huh? Battle Racers, Drift King, Dungeon Master, Final Stretch, Gundam, Suzuka 8 Hours. Let's take a look at that. Namco. So it's basically also System 7. It's kind of like Mario Kart. Everybody used the same effect to give you a road. Oh, and I'm dead. Let's go back. And then, of course, we have various normal games. I'm not sure what SPED is. Let's not mess with it. There's a good write-up about Out of This World and how they got it to run on the Super NES. She had to do all kinds of tricks to make this thing work. She has the developer, I forget her name. She has a YouTube channel and she talks about it. And she did some crazy things to get different games to work. And this one on the Super NES, she had to drive some things, like she had to change some hardware registers around or something. And it took a long time for people to figure out what she was doing in order to emulate this particular game. Now you might notice that it's a little bit cut off on the left-hand side. That's because we're in this 4:3 mode. You might be watching this on a widescreen, and yeah. It's going to be in the square like it was back in the day. Square soft. But the thing that's interesting about Out of This World is that it's also known as Another World, is that it was all done with polygons, and this was in a time period when polygons, you know, weren't working. It's more or less you got to do everything right. This game work. It's like before we had things like Limbo, we had this. Oh, and I did. But yeah, so anyway, this system works really well. You know, combined with an EverDrive cartridge, especially one that supports the various FX chips. This one doesn't, but it does support the DSP chip. But you can get one that has everything. They are a little expensive, as is this system. But once you get the whole kit and caboodle, you've got a nice little emulation station where you can play all the classics. Now, you can, of course, get a system that emulates all of that stuff, but you kind of have to have some horsepower, which a lot of systems do have. I mean, I have systems like that too. But that's not this. This isn't about all that. You know, mostly this is just to show that it works and it's part of the collection. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.